if the telephone rings, I have to answer it, and hopefully we can edit it out, and you won't be bothered with the interruptions. Should be able to edit it out. So let's get to the point that David Arthur Johnson is a person that I heard of when I was operating in a camp on Salt Spring Island. It was a freedom camp, and there was a lot of campers camped on the beach, and we were demonstrating. Basically, I started at the camp by parking my bus there in protest of the bylaws, which the city of Salt Spring, or the village of Salt Spring, has the number of people that can occupy a dwelling. That's regulated. That's law. What is the law? And the law reads that only 4 unrelated people can occupy a space. And I was living on 3 acres, and I had a good-sized house and barn, and I was into making more and more friends, and I had a fellow there named Tony Jones who was living downstairs in my basement. He wasn't paying any rent, and he was just basically crashing there. And he had been crashing at my place for a couple of months, which was fine. He was a really nice guy. Played music. Maybe we can play one of his songs one day. We filmed a couple. And bylaws came by. And they said that they had heard that I had more than 4 people living there, and that was against the law. And that I would have to obey the law, or I would be fined, and I would be evicted from the property, one way or another. They have the power. They have the guns. They have the budget. They got the manpower. I can't stand up to them. It's overwhelming odds to take on these bylaws, which in due time I'll explain, which is exactly what's happening. So I told the people there, I believe there was like a few people, I can't remember. We had like a few people, more than the 4 anyway. And I told Tony, and he went out that night down to the beach in Ganges, and at low tide he slashed his wrist, and in the morning he was washed up on shore, and the front page of the paper on Salt Spring was of the 4 RCMP carrying Tony off the beach. I felt bad about it. I hated it. I thought this is really so bad. The guy wasn't harming anybody. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He just didn't have anywhere to go, and he didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't have a job. He had no income, and I was like his last refuge. And I didn't tell him to move. I just said, look, this is the rule. And they're laying these rules on me, as they're doing today. The same thing, same situation. And anyway, the day after that, I had a bus. I went down to the beach in Salt Spring, and we started a camp. And the camp lasted a year and a half, and had up to 70 people in it. And we were fairly effective in getting attention. But the substance, like, get to the meat, to where is this going? What are we going to do? It's such a long story. Anyway, that was the beginning of the camp on Salt Spring, 2002. And it was when, at the end of that camp, for me, was when I heard about this guy in Victoria who was didn't use money. And I'd always been interested in different types of people, odd people, and especially spiritually motivated people. I had an inner search. So I went to meet David. Well, it's true. He wasn't using money. He had given up money. He had he had an enlightenment, and he realized that money is entirely mind-made. There's, there's, there's no substance in it. It's just, search it on the web. It's just a big game plan to control your mind through believing in this game, and everybody, just about everybody is playing it. And this guy was saying, no, I'm not going to play it. So he started this campaign at the occupation of St. Anne's Academy in Victoria on January the 16th, 2004, and was duly arrested for sleeping outside without their permission, which is what he was saying, that I have the right to sleep outside. I don't want to pay to stay in your establishment. I don't want to live in a house. I want to sleep outside. So he was actually camping in the park, Beacon Hill Park, and the guards would come along and they would evict him. They would put spray down where he was sleeping, and they'd make it just inhospitable for him to be there, and then they would chase him off and wake him up and all these different things. So he said, this is not right. I should be able to. This is a big country, like, where's our freedom if we can't sleep outside? Think about it. They control you through the real estate board. That's where the real political clout is. It's all real estate. It's how we are kept under their yoke of oppression, kept in their demand. Perform, go out and make money, pay rent. Biggest chunk of everybody's check. Rents. Got to go to work. Need a car to go to work. Everything is related to the land. Where did it come from? How did they get ownership? Where did ownership come from? The natives didn't have it, and that's how they they were invaded. The invaders came in with their foreign god, foreign rules, took control over the native people, and established a system of destruction. Today, where are we? Where are we? We're culminating this order, and it's culminating in an all-out wipeout. The problem is that you can't blame a specific race and say, oh, the Europeans did this, or the Japanese invaded China and they did that, and so we've developed like a history of false starts, and we ended up with all these countries and all this garbage. Where do we go from here? It's very simple. There's not much you have to do. In fact, there's nothing you have to do. You just have to open your eyes and witness what you see going on. Where are we heading here? Never mind where we're heading. Nobody knows that. What's the purpose of all life? We don't know that. That's a great search. But what are we doing now? How are we being controlled? Through the land. That's the base, to the very ground that you're standing on. The land is a necessity. We have to have land. We have to be free on that land. If we're to act conscientiously with autonomy, we must be free. David's making that stand. Been making it for 8 years now. He's been in court over 50 times. Every time he goes, they put him in jail, once up to 7 months. Luckily, he got out on a charter challenge, challenging their right to dictate where he should sleep. And he won in court. They won in court. It was a big case. Made Citizen of the Year, very famous, very, very well known. And it was denied, it was stated by the courts that it was a fundamental injustice to deny anyone to protect themselves while they're sleeping peacefully outside. We all won that battle. There was a lot of people involved. It wasn't just David. He had a lot of supporters, but he was the main force. He was the one that initiated it and said, that's it, I have a right to sleep, and you can kill me if you want, but I am going to sleep because it's a necessity, and I don't want to sleep in your hostels, and I'm not asking for your handouts. I'm willing to live my life freely outside your system, yet I'm still have the right to stay where I am. I don't have to go out into the country. I don't have to go to another land. I can have a right to be right here where I am. And on October the 31st, he's in court again. You can study it all on the web. The whole case is there. David made a meticulous documentary on everything that happened. When he went into jail, he'd make his last post. He would announce to them what he was going to do. And then when he came out, he would make his statement about what it was like to be out. Same thing. Every time it's the same thing. Where now, this is getting down to the final hour. We're all wearing out. Cost the government probably in the millions of dollars, this case. And it's all to deny one homeless guy his right to sleep outside. October 31st, Victoria Courthouse, Burdett Avenue. Get in touch with me, David Shebib, One Earth Communications. Dr. Jonathan, he's in Newfoundland. He's covering down there. And we're witnessing what's going on in our world at this time. Thank you.